You know those incredibly detailed laser-etched designs you see everywhere? Ever look at one and think, hey, I could totally do that? Well, you're definitely not alone. The world of laser engraving is just blowing up right now, turning creative hobbies into some seriously impressive businesses. So in this explainer, we're going to cut through the noise and show you exactly how to turn that spark of an idea into a business that actually thrives. Let's dive in.
Okay, just look at this number. $6.49 billion. That's the projection for the global laser engraving market by 2032. We're not talking about some little niche hobby here. This is a massive wave of opportunity, and it's growing at a really solid 8% every single year. The potential here is, well, it's just staggering.
But with big opportunity comes some pretty big questions. It's one thing to go out and buy a cool machine, but it's a whole other ballgame to build a real, profitable business that's going to stick around. So we're going to get past all the hype and look at what it really takes.
So first up, let's figure out why this is all happening in the first place. What is behind this, well, this engraving gold rush?
So what's really fueling this fire? Well, it isn't just one thing. Yeah, consumer personalization is a huge slice of the pie, for sure. But look at all the other major players here. Industrial marking, super high precision parts for cars and planes, even medical devices. This is so much bigger than just custom phone cases. It's a critical piece of technology for some major industries.
Okay, so the demand is clearly there. How do you actually tap into it? Let's switch gears and get practical. Let's talk about your startup blueprint. Look, a great idea needs a great plan, right? This 7-step roadmap is your foundation. You start by really learning the industry, and then you define exactly who you're selling to. Is it shoppers on Etsy looking for wedding gifts, or is it local companies that need branded awards? From there, you set clear financial goals and lock in what you're actually going to sell. Then it's all about execution, building a marketing strategy, setting milestones you can actually hit, and this is the most important part, constantly looking at your progress and being willing to adjust.
And here's what you'll need to get going: your starter kit. First, obviously, the laser itself. A CO2 laser is a fantastic, versatile place to start. It's perfect for things like wood, leather, and acrylic because of how its wavelength is absorbed. Now, if you're thinking you'll be working mostly with metals, you're probably going to want a fiber laser for that extra power and precision. Of course, you'll also need a computer with design software, your raw materials, and, this is non-negotiable, safety gear in a workspace with really good ventilation. Trust me, those fumes are no joke. And if you ever start to doubt the demand, just remember this statistic. Nearly 60% of online shoppers prefer personalized products. You're not just selling an engraved thing, you're selling a memory, a personal statement, something unique. This isn't just a fleeting trend, it's a real shift in how people shop. The customers are already out there waiting. Okay, so we've covered the opportunity and the plan, but now we have to talk about the serious stuff, the hidden risks that can sink a business before it even has a chance to float.
Let me be absolutely clear. The powerful lasers you need for professional work are not toys. This table does a great job of breaking down the different hazard levels. The machines you'll be using for this kind of work, they're almost always going to be Class 3B or more likely Class 4. And when it says maximum hazard, it means exactly that. It's a serious risk to your eyes, your skin, and it's even a major fire hazard. And because that risk is so high, the safety standards are incredibly strict. According to the official ANSI standard, if you're operating a Class 3B or Class 4 laser, you are required to have a designated laser safety officer, or an LSO. This is the person who's responsible for all the safety rules, the training, and making sure the entire workspace is secure. This is not optional, it is a mandate. Protecting yourself physically is number one, but protecting yourself financially is a very close second. And that means having the right insurance coverage. We're talking general liability, property insurance for all your expensive equipment, and even business interruption insurance. That's the stuff that protects you if you're forced to shut down for a while. A single accident or machine failure could wipe you out without it. All right, you're set up, you're safe. Now let's make some money. How in the world do you price your work so that you're actually building a profitable business and not just a costly hobby?
It's really a pretty simple 3-step process. First, you have to calculate all your costs: the materials, your time, the electricity, even the wear and tear on your machine. Second, you add your profit margin on top of that. And third, you have to do your homework and research what your competitors are charging to make sure you're in the right ballpark. You've got to be competitive, but please never ever sell yourself short.
So, what's a good profit margin to shoot for? Well, the sweet spot is generally somewhere between 20 and 30%.
That ensures you're not just covering your costs, you're actually building a real business and have enough cash to reinvest and keep growing. So we've covered the market, the plan, the risks, the money, but I want to wrap things up with a really powerful and honestly, a kind of unconventional strategy for long-term success. I think you're going to find this fascinating. So here's the big question, right? How do you create a business that doesn't just, work, but one that actually gets better and smarter and more efficient every single day? Well, the secret comes from a place you probably wouldn't expect: higher education. It's this concept called assurance of learning, and it's the formal system that top universities use to make sure their classes are actually working and to constantly make them better over time. And here's how we can use that idea. Think about it. A university sets learning goals, right? Then it checks to see if students are hitting those goals, and it uses that data to make the classes better. Your business can do the exact same thing. First, you define what a high-quality product is. Maybe it's perfect alignment, perfect depth. Then, you measure customer satisfaction with reviews or surveys. You track which of your designs are selling the best, and you use all of that real-world data to make your products and your process even better. It's a feedback loop for excellence.
I mean, this quote from the group that accredits business schools says it all. The goal is documented continuous improvement. It's not about just guessing what your customers want. It's about building a system to find out for sure, and then acting on what you learn.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Are you just completing a bunch of orders, or are you building a learning machine? Because the answer to that question, well, that could be the difference between a hobby that makes a little extra cash and an empire that's truly built to last.